Welcome to Introspective English Hub, where literature meets insight. Today, we're diving into a deceptively simple, yet deeply symbolic nature poem by one of America's most revered poets, Emily Dickinson. In this video, we'll introduce the poet, explore the poem, A Bird Came Down the Walk, stanza by stanza, and uncover its profound meaning. So stay tuned, and if you enjoy this literary journey, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more. Let's begin with the poet herself. Emily Dickinson was a 19th century American poet, celebrated for her introspective and often enigmatic style. She lived most of her life in seclusion, during which she wrote nearly 1,800 poems, many of which were published only after her death. Her work explores themes of nature, death, immortality, and the human soul, all captured through vivid imagery and unconventional punctuation. Her verse is typically concise, yet powerful, reflecting a deep and contemplative engagement with the world, even if that world was limited to her home and garden. Now, let's turn to the poem. A Bird Came Down the Walk was written in 1862 and later published posthumously in the second series of Dickinson's poems in 1891. The poem offers a striking observation of a bird's actions, blending realism with subtle symbolism. It consists of 5 quatrains written in iambic trimeter, using simple language to capture a complex view of nature's balance between gentleness and violence. Now let's journey through the poem A Bird Came Down the Walk, stanza by stanza. We begin with first stanza. A bird came down the walk. He did not know I saw. He bit an angleworm in halves and ate the fellow raw. We begin with a quiet observation. The poet watches a bird walking along a path, unaware that it's being watched. Suddenly, the bird finds an earthworm, called an angleworm here, and bites it in half, swallowing it raw and alive. This scene might surprise us. We often think of birds as delicate or sweet, but here we see the harsh side of survival. The image of the bird biting the worm is vivid, and even a little brutal. We can understand from this that nature isn't just peaceful and pretty. It has its own rules, where survival often means being fierce. Even in a gentle garden, life and death are part of the natural order. Let's look at the meanings of some important words from this stanza. Angleworm, an earthworm. Fellow. Here, it refers to the worm. Raw, uncooked, alive. Let's look at the figures of speech in this stanza. Imagery. Bit an angleworm in halves gives a clear visual image of the bird's action. Irony. We often see birds as gentle, but here it behaves savagely. We can understand from this that even the most delicate-looking creatures, like birds, have to fight for survival. Nature, which often seems calm and lovely, hides a world where hunger and death are part of daily life. Dickinson gently reminds us that beneath the beauty, there's a raw, sometimes brutal truth. Let's see if you can answer these. Here's what happens in the second stanza. And then he drank a dew from a convenient grass, and then hopped sidewise to the wall to let a beetle pass. After that intense moment, the mood softens. The bird drinks a drop of dew from a nearby blade of grass, something refreshing and light. Then it hops politely aside to let a beetle crawl by. It's fascinating how this same bird, who just hunted a worm, now behaves gently and respectfully toward another creature. This contrast shows us the balance in nature between aggression and gentleness, survival and coexistence. We can understand from this that every creature carries both instinct and awareness. Even in the wild, there's space for quiet cooperation. Let's look at the meanings of some important words from this stanza. Dew. Tiny drops of water from the air that settle on grass in the morning. Convenient, nearby, easy to reach. Let's look at the figures of speech in this stanza. Personification. The bird's act of letting the beetle pass feels human, almost like showing manners. We can understand from this that this stanza shows nature's balance. The bird, just moments ago a predator, now behaves peacefully and respectfully. It reminds us that survival and harmony can exist together in the natural world, Let's see if you can answer these. Let's take a closer look at third stanza. He glanced with rapid eyes. That hurried all abroad. They looked like frightened beads, I thought. He stirred his velvet head. The bird becomes alert. Its eyes move quickly, glancing around, full of awareness. The poet compares those darting eyes to small, shiny beads, full of fear and energy. Its head, soft like velvet, moves gently, but there's a feeling of tension now. Maybe the bird has sensed someone watching, perhaps the poet. We can understand from this that even small animals live in a state of watchfulness. A quiet observer can still cause unease. Nature is always on guard, always ready to fly. Let's look at the meanings of some important words from this stanza. Glanced, looked quickly. Abroad, all around. Beads, small, round objects, here referring to the eyes. Velvet, soft, smooth fabric. Let's look at the figures of speech in this stanza. Simile, like frightened beads, compares the bird's eyes to beads, helping us picture its fear. Metaphor, velvet head, adds texture to the bird's image. We can understand from this that, even in peaceful settings, animals are always alert. This bird, once calm, now senses something, maybe the quiet human observer. Dickinson captures how fragile and cautious life in the wild can be. Let's see if you can answer these. Now, let's explore the fourth stanza. Like one in danger, cautious, I offered him a crumb, and he unrolled his feathers, and rode him softer home. The poet tries to be kind, and offers the bird a crumb of food. But the bird, sensing something unfamiliar, chooses to fly away. The way it takes flight is described in such a beautiful way. It rode him softer home, as if its wings were oars gliding through the air like a boat across still water. This gentle comparison makes the bird's flight feel smooth and silent. It reminds us that no matter how kind our intentions, nature doesn't belong to us. We can understand from this that true freedom means not needing to rely on others, not even on a friendly human. The bird trusts its wings more than an offered crumb. Let's look at the meanings of some important words from this stanza. Crumb, a small piece of food. Unrolled, spread out. Rode, paddled. Moved smoothly like a boat. Let's look at the figures of speech in this stanza. Metaphor, rode him softer home, compares the bird's wings to oars, creating a graceful image of flight. Simile, like one in danger, emphasizes the bird's fear and caution. We can understand from this that even though kindness is offered, the bird chooses freedom. Nature does not trust easily. This stanza reflects how living things value their independence and instincts over comfort or human interaction. Let's see if you can answer these. Let's dive into the fifth stanza. Then oars divide the ocean, 2 silver for a seam, or butterflies off banks of noon leap, plashless as they swim. To end the poem, Emily Dickinson gives us a stunning image of the bird flying away, so softly, so gracefully, that it leaves no trace behind. She first compares the bird's flight to oars moving through a calm ocean, oars that are so gentle they don't even leave a seam or line in the water. The ocean is described as 2 silver for a seam, meaning it's so smooth and shiny that no trace can be seen. Then Dickinson continues the comparison. She says the bird's flight is like butterflies leaping off a sunny riverbank at noon, moving so lightly through the air it's as if they're swimming without making a splash, plashless. Yes, Dickinson clearly compares the bird's flight to the delicate movement of butterflies, showing us just how elegant and undisturbed it is. This dreamy picture helps us see nature's quiet beauty. There's no noise, no splash, no sharp movement, just silent, smooth, magical motion. We can understand from this that some of the most powerful moments in nature are also the quietest. Dickinson leaves us in awe of the soft, graceful wonders that surround us every day, if we only take the time to notice. Let's look at the meanings of some important words from this stanza. Oars, paddles used to rowboats. Seam, a line or mark. Plashless, without splashing. Banks of noon, river banks at midday, warm and bright. Let's look at the figures of speech in this stanza. Simile. The bird's flight is compared to both oars and butterflies, showing how smooth and gentle it is. Imagery. 2 silver for a scene. And butterflies. Leap. Creates soft, magical pictures in our minds. We can understand from this that nature's quiet beauty is its most powerful charm. The bird's gentle, soundless flight becomes a symbol of pure grace. Dickinson leaves us in awe, showing how something simple and wild can be so elegant when left undisturbed. Let's see if you can answer these. Let's now go through the summary and analysis of the poem. In this poem, the speaker describes a quiet moment observing a bird that is unaware of being watched. The bird bites an angleworm in half and eats it, drinks dew from the grass, and courteously steps aside to let a beetle pass. The poet notes how the bird's eyes appear like frightened beads and its head like soft velvet, showing both beauty and alertness. When the poet offers a crumb, the bird declines and instead flies away gracefully. Dickinson compares the bird's flight to oars softly rowing a boat and to butterflies leaping without causing a splash, emphasizing the bird's elegant, seamless movement in contrast to human interference. This moment highlights the fragile connection between humans and nature, where even a peaceful gesture causes the bird to retreat. The poem reflects on coexistence, instinctual fear, and the sublime grace of the natural world. So through just 5 stanzas, Emily Dickinson paints a complete picture of nature, its danger, beauty, caution, and grace. She shows us that even a small bird can reveal deep truths about life, freedom, and the delicate balance of the world around us. What did you learn from the bird's quiet journey? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell for more poetry insights from Introspective English Hub.